Good morning. It is day 10 of my 30-day challenge. It's a very promising day ahead of me. I had a good night of sleep last night, which I suspect had something to do with being at the waterfront last night as the sun was setting. I think that that was very good for my circadian rhythm. I'll put a link in the description box about circadian rhythm, the one that is connected to when we eat, actually. But I had a good night of sleep, and that's very encouraging to me. And it's a promising day ahead. I have gotten up and had access to the bathroom this morning, so I weighed myself. And just like I said that yesterday was a great day, and I focused on protein, but kept my energy sources of fats and carbs on the low side. I weighed 140.4 this morning. The last 2 mornings, I weighed 143. And the day before yesterday, I felt like the meal that I ate, which was a combination of fats and carbs, did not digest well through the night. Even though I didn't eat late at night, I'm pretty sure I was finished eating by 4 or 5 o'clock, but that combo meal did not sit well with me, and I didn't sleep well the night before. But yesterday, that protein crepe meal, strawberry protein crepes, really worked well for me. So I feel good after a good night of sleep and a good number on the scale. I like that number. Going in the right direction. I'm about to take my morning glucose, and I have a suspicion that it's actually not going to be low, like in the low 70s or even in the low 80s. But let's see it together and see if my suspicion is right or not. Okay, here we go. Test strips 1, 2, 3, meter, bottom of the phone, allow the Dario app, insert a new test strip. I'll use this one today. Draw the drop of blood, touch it to the end of the pipette strip, drop another drop of blood, so I'm ready. Oh, well, then I'm pleasantly surprised. 77. Okay. What? I've already been entered in the Dario. What happened? Okay, well, you got my information. What's going on here? Lori, Lee, female. Okay. Let's go with this. Something's not right here. I'm going to just stop for a second. I don't know what that was all about, whether it was a reset or... No, the strip is not used. Okay, now we're going through some issues. That strip is not used. Okay. I might have to do a reset here. Well, okay. Let's keep testing. Those strips are not used. Get a new drop of blood. 76. Well, never mind. Okay, so I have a morning fasting glucose of, I'm going to give myself credit and say 76. Here's why I was thinking that my morning fasting glucose might be higher this morning than yesterday morning or the day before, where I had a 70 something. And the reason is because when the body is losing weight, sometimes the glucose can look elevated from that. So let me read to you from the Data-Driven Fasting Manual. I looked it up so I would have the exact wording of this situation. In the Data-Driven Fasting Manual, I can read one of the frequently asked questions: why would my glucose increase when I don't eat? And I thought that maybe, even though, well, when I saw the number on the scale, a drop of almost 3 pounds from the other 2 days to today, I thought that maybe my body was giving up a bunch of glucose to, and that I would see an elevated glucose number when I tested this morning. So here's the answer. Why would my glucose increase when I don't eat? It may seem counterintuitive, but your blood glucose after meals or upon waking can increase as you start to lose weight, especially if you don't have excellent metabolic health or have a lot of weight to lose. Well, I don't have a lot of weight to lose. I'm very close to my goal weight. It's as if your body has a lot of stored energy to unload and is eager to dump extra glucose and fat into your bloodstream as soon as you cut back on your food. While our goal is to reduce blood glucose, especially in the morning, as a sign of good overall metabolic health, keep in mind that when you are losing weight, your body is not in a steady state. If your insulin levels suddenly drop, you may start dumping a lot of energy into your bloodstream. If your other markers, like body fat, weight, and waist, are moving in the right direction, there is a good chance you will be in a much healthier position in the longer term once things stabilize. Eventually, though, you will deplete your liver glycogen, and you should see your blood glucose levels come down as your body fat levels decrease. Okay, back to recording. I'm gonna record my morning fasting glucose, and I'm gonna record my weight on this is the Dario screen. I'm gonna go to the Data-Driven Fasting app, and I'm gonna hit track. So my trigger is 83, and I'm going to go to biomarkers because that's the only place I can record weight. And I'll put in my weight, and that's 140.2. Record that, and then I'll hit track again, and I can record glucose under the biomarkers tab, or glucose. Let's just go back to the biomarkers, select a biometric of blood glucose, and value, whoops, I need to touch on waking. Value was 76. And hit record. And then I can look at the whole screen for today. Excuse me. The daily lesson for the day says, follow the trend, ignore the noise. I'm going to hit read more and share this with you. So as you start tracking, you will quickly learn that biometrics like weight, blood sugar, and body fat can bounce around from day to day. This noise can be confusing, so try to stay focused on the long-term trends. And there's just an image of one of the pre-meal glucose trends. While there may be many day-to-day variabilities, you should see a long-term trend as you wait for your blood glucose to drop below trigger. As blood glucose decreases, weight and body fat will follow. So I haven't recorded any of my body fat measurements. I could. The Renfo scale collects that. I just haven't bothered to put it in yet. And this is the very last part, 2 little paragraphs. While it's helpful to track body fat to ensure you're losing fat and not precious lean muscle mass, you should be aware that body fat data can be even noisier. But as you chase a lower pre-meal trigger by delaying or skipping meals, you will see your weight and body fat trend down. Try to follow the recommendations given by the DDF app without overthinking the process. Accept that there will be some days when the data doesn't go your way for no apparent reason. You are free to use your brain to decide whether you need to eat, even if your blood glucose is above trigger. Okay, that's the end of that little lesson for today. So that's my pre-meal glucose trend for 14 days. And my hourly glucose that I've put in for the last 14 days. So anyway, I am going to go in the house and help my daughter. It's Sunday morning, which is a little extra challenging to get everybody ready for church. I have decided to have breakfast. I have to make breakfast for the little one anyway, and my daughter needs some breakfast for some brain power for tomorrow's big test. So I am cooking up, I cooked up some fried salami. I found that in the fridge. I'm doing some eggs on a very low and slow heat, trying to cook all the whites but leave the yolks soft. And what else? I am using the air fryer. Yes, the plate is cockeyed because it doesn't really fit, and I didn't find a good solution for holding the sliced cherry tomatoes. I'm roasting tomatoes. They're sliced in half. Well, the youngster helped me slice them. So some are sliced long ways, some are sliced in half, and some are mashed. But they're in there roasting, and they've got some salt and pepper and some fresh thyme that I found in the refrigerator. I've called everybody to the table, and now we're ready to sit down and have our feast. Okay, this is a view of what my plate looked like. I had the skillet fried salami, which was sort of like having some bacon. I had eggs over easy, topped with the roasted tomatoes, and I used some mushroom snacks that I got from Whole Foods on my last visit here. They were in my pantry box. And then finally, really what I wanted to have most of all was the protein crepe. And this time, instead of doing it as a fruit-filled, cream-filled, protein-packed dessert, I just simply sprinkled some allulose and cinnamon and nutmeg on the inside. I didn't use any fat with it. And then folded it over and sprinkled some more cinnamon and allulose and nutmeg on it. And just going to eat it almost like a cinnamon roll or whatever. Just very tasty to me. And that gave me even more protein. So I'm delighted to have discovered I can make these protein crepes. And the information, recipe, a video to Neely Indigo's YouTube channel where I found out about these protein crepes will be in the description box. I am back at the same area that I was at last night with my granddaughter, and today's video is obviously going to be very short. I was busy with her and her mother because it was Sunday. We all had glorious naps today at home, and now we have stopped at the Lagoon Beach area. Here's, see, I can show you some of the background. When I was still sitting in the car, I took my blood sugar before we got out to walk around in the park, because I'm pretty sure that one meal that I had this morning before church, that was it. I haven't been hungry all day. When we got home from church, I didn't want to eat. I just wasn't interested. So they had their lunch. The little family had their lunch, but I sat with them and didn't eat. And so I checked my blood sugar just now, 79. And
I think what I'll do is just go to bed with that and wake up and have an enjoyable meal in the morning. I don't know if you can hear in the background, but there's a band back there. I don't know if you're going to pick it up on the audio. Just a second, sweetheart. Anyway, I don't know if I'm going to do an ending clip on this or not. So this might be the ending for day 10 of my 30-day challenge. And if I do go to bed without eating, I'm kind of excited to see what the scale might say tomorrow. Also, what my morning fasting glucose will be. What else would I add to this? Oh, and it's not that I'm depriving myself. I'm just not hungry. That breakfast this morning was loaded with protein, and it had some fuel. It had some fats in it, of course. I think I had five eggs, and then I had the protein crepe, and I can't remember if there was anything else protein-wise, but I had a good slug of protein this morning, and not a whole lot of fat. My fat really came just from the eggs, the egg yolks, I think, if I can remember my meal correctly. Anyway, this could be it on the video for day 10 of my 30-day challenge from the Playa del Rey Children's Lagoon. It's a nice, cool evening. It's not cool in Texas, not at all. I checked the weather.
Well, that wasn't the end of the video. This is the end of the video. I got home with a granddaughter and found a surprise. My daughter had decided to get boba tea for us as a treat and to thank me for helping her out. She introduced me to boba tea quite a few years ago, maybe 8, 9, 10 years ago. And she knows I really like the gelatin, the tapioca pearls that are in the boba tea. Anyway, she got me a pistachio frap with double boba pearls in it. And I couldn't say that I didn't want it or it was going to derail my intentions for being good for the rest of the day. So I thanked her. I was very grateful for it, and I'm going to drink it and go to bed regardless of what it does to my blood sugars, because my relationship is more important than my fixation on food. So there we go, the end.